Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in the Hydration with Heart segment, brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. Today we're featuring Ashley Walter. She goes by the handle Living with Ashley. She's a renowned healthy living concierge, and she's a chef dedicated to holistic nutrition and wellness, specializing in menu planning, meal prep, life strategies, and mastering health and wellness. She empowers individuals to adopt clean living practices. With her expertise in integrating nutritious ingredients like coconut water into daily routines, she helps reduce cancer risk and promote overall health, particularly for millennials and Gen Z, with her incredible insight. Today, she's going to join me to chat clean living and cancer prevention. It's all about hydrating and thriving with the incredible Ashley Walter. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Okay, so nutrition is such a cornerstone for our health, isn't it? I mean, I recently read that article that millennials and Gen Z are at a higher risk for certain types of cancer, which is pretty alarming considering how health conscious these generations are becoming. Yet, with all the avocado toasts and smoothie bowls, there are still gaps in our nutrition. So, can you share some essential principles that can really make a difference? And what are some key holistic nutrition principles that millennial and Gen Z should really adopt to reduce this cancer risk?
For sure. I think one of the biggest issues is when you think of those generations, you're thinking of people who are getting new information, right? I call it new of nutrition. So we get so much information that we're overrun. And it all seems to follow on trends and things that are happening, but we've forgotten about the foundational principles of what healthy eating truly is. And so when I talk to people, I try to simplify it. You want to go back to the basics. So one of the foundational principles I love to say is every plate should have 3 to 4 colors on it. It's so simple, right? 3 to 4 colors. I have a 9-year-old, and this is kind of how I coach her as well. Why 3 to 4 colors? Is because you want to have a variety of foods and nutrients in your life. Every color represents a nutrient spectrum that you might not get from another. But we forget about that. And we also tend to have habits where we eat the same thing all the time. So therefore, we're not getting the other nutrients that we are definitely needing to fight off chronic disease. So variety is key. But also, I do like to preface that so much now is about counting macronutrients, calories, but it's not called calorition. It is called nutrition. So I want people to focus on the nutrients that they're taking in. And that also goes in line with slowing down. So slow down to plan, but also one of the biggest strategies I love to tell clients is, and I have them do this, is we are go, 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 especially these generations. And if we don't stop and slow down to eat, we're not digesting our food properly, and we're also not absorbing those nutrients. If we don't absorb them, we can't use them.
That's
so
incredible.
I have clients, chopsticks. I challenge you all, try eating with chopsticks a few days out of 1 week and see how much you have to slow down and really also appreciate your food. But those are some of the basic tips. Fiber is really super key. And because we have so much processed food and everybody, I say it's the white crisis. We want to go brown, and we want to have, again, it goes back to that color, having 3 to 4 colors in every
3 to 4 colors. I love this. Now, it's really simple once you break it down. So it's interesting how this new study puts a spotlight on younger generations facing increased cancer risks, because clean eating has become more than just a trend, right? It's a necessity. And they say you are what you eat, and it's never actually been truer. So let's talk about how simple changes like choosing organic produce or avoiding processed foods, like you just mentioned, can have that huge impact on our long-term health. So with this study really putting the younger generation in a spotlight, how can incorporating clean ingredients into our daily diet make this huge difference?
The problem is what we approach when we were approaching our diet, the most important thing is, yes, you're thinking clean and whole, but a lot of the generations don't know what that means and how to do that, because we're either ordering out or we don't have time to cook. We are focusing on quick fixes. So the real true point is to be able to stick with a plan. And again, it does go back to having those colorful choices and having those things, but really it's a this versus that principle, right? So before you step down and you go grocery shopping or you're eating something, think about if you know what's actually in it. So harmful chemicals are what strip us of what we need to fight off disease. Not only can they cause disease, but they also strip us. Think about the fact that when we eat so many bad things, we're flushing out the good bacteria. The bad is still there. And that's when people start taking probiotics, right? So eating healthy, it's not just about avoiding the bad things, but it's making sure we're filling ourselves with the good. So when you're having produce, I kind of take this approach with the grocery shopping aspect, right? When I'm coaching a client and I say, if you want to think about how you should eat, think about the principle of perimeter shopping. Think about a grocery store. When you go in the grocery store, you could literally thrive off of shopping from the produce section around to the protein section to the grains, which are generally the bakery. Then you're going to the eggs and dairy. Then you're going all the way around, and you could go check out without going to the internal aisles, because the internal aisles is where everything's in a bag or a box. So if you can shop,
I love that. I love what you just said. I'm going to now stick to that. But that's right there, the golden piece of advice. I want to be mindful of the time, so I'm going to
yeah,
move on now to hydration, which as
yeah,
a mom, this is something that I can't talk about enough. So staying hydrated seems so simple, yet it's something many of us neglect. I mean, how often do we forget to drink water because we're so busy with our lives? But proper hydration is crucial, not just for our skin and energy levels, but it also plays this significant role in our overall health, including reducing cancer risk. Yes, it does. And let's be honest, coconut water has become quite the superstar in the hydration game. So can you explain the role of staying hydrated and maintaining overall health and potentially lowering cancer risk, and how all of this comes back to coconut water?
for sure. I attribute this. So when you think about our bodies, we have to flush things out. And we're not really going to do a good job flushing it out with coffee or energy drinks that have additives in there that are not all natural. So, water, coconut water, really taking that in, flushing out our system, it's flushing out toxins that potentially contribute to the development of cancer and other diseases. Not to mention, staying well hydrated, right? Also promotes kidney health, liver health, and it's a primary detox for all of our main organs. So you say bye-bye to the chemicals while you're maintaining the minerals and nutrients that you're absorbing. However, drinking enough water also helps us stave off weight gain. You're curbing unnecessary snacking, you're supporting your metabolism. All of our 10 control systems are energized by water and sleep. So if we don't do that, and coconut water actually speeds it along with the natural electrolytes that are in there. So you're not loading it up with fake sugars that would
Okay,
not.
so wait, pause. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Now I want you to talk to me about that. So I've noticed that coconut water is everywhere these days, from yoga studios to inside our morning smoothies, but it's not just a
Mhm.
fad. There's an actual real science behind its benefits. Like you said, it's packed with electrolytes, it's low in calories, and it's a fantastic way to hydrate naturally, and it does taste amazing. So what benefits does it offer, especially in the context of clean living and cancer prevention?
For sure. So if you are an energy drink person, I used to run marathons. I used to have to load up, but on a daily basis, like you just said, being a mom, we all need to hydrate. And if you need to hydrate faster and better, more efficiently, then the electrolytes that are natural in coconut water are going to hydrate you faster, but also keep you hydrated longer. But they, with the antioxidants in there, it is literally nature's very own sports drink, because electrolytes like potassium, sodium, and magnesium are known to be used for other things like proper muscle function, which is other sports drinks with the fake sugar. They're just there to hydrate you. We don't think about proper muscle function. So it's amazing that it does that for us as well. But the biggest thing that I say is it aids in digestion. Fake sugars are known to cause a traffic jam in our digestive systems and also strip us of good minerals and vitamins that we need. However, when you have this, it's very gentle on the stomach. And in this society where we're all missing a lot of proper good bacteria, we have stomach issues. So anything we can do to keep digestion going strong and to promote good bacteria and just like an easy system, coconut water is going to do that for you.
I love it. So this brings me into my next question. So cooking healthy meals can sometimes feel like a challenge for most people, but I always say it doesn't have to be. I actually enjoy cooking and creating meals for my daughter. But as a chef, you have a unique perspective on how to make nutritious food both delicious and accessible. And now coconut water is a fantastic ingredient with numerous health benefits that you just pointed out. And I'm sure there are creative ways to use it beyond just drinking it. So how do you integrate coconut water and other health boosting ingredients into your recipes to promote this balanced and cancer preventative diet?
One of the biggest things I do is we know that fats, whether they be healthy fats or not, sometimes can back up our system. So when we use cooking oil, one of the biggest tips for people to stave off weight gain, but in a healthy way, is to use a little bit of water. But I use coconut water because not only does it add a little bit of flavor, it can add a little depth to that. So if I'm cooking something, let's say I'm sauteing vegetables, I'll use the coconut water instead of oil to saute the vegetables. Or if I'm making a smoothie, I always use coconut water in my smoothies just because I don't like to use a dairy base or a non-dairy base. I make the coconut water with ice, and then the vegetables and fruits in it really make for a substantial smoothie without having that. So another creative way is coconut water for me. I have a little girl, so it's super fun to do some recipes in the morning. So we'll do overnight oats with half coconut water and then half of the solid coconut fat, like coconut cream, not a milk. So when you combine them together, it makes something that's thicker and sustainable in a baking situation, or just like an overnight oats. But those are my favorite ways to use it.
You're speaking my language. My daughter loves coconut milk, and she loves everything coconut water related. And specifically, the Once Upon a Coconut brand has the chocolate flavored coconut water that tastes like almost like chocolate milk, but it's vegan and has very low sugar. And I think that's a huge, big shout out to Once Upon a Coconut for coming up with that chocolate flavor. Now, I'm going to pivot a little bit, but it's
Yep.
quite encouraging to know that 40%, right, of these cancers are preventable with the right lifestyle choices, putting you at the heart of it all, my dear. That's a significant number, 40%. They're preventable. So implementing changes gets tricky here, from quitting smoking to maintaining a healthy weight. There's changes that have to be implemented throughout, and it could be overwhelming. But what would you suggest as the first steps for us younger generations, millennial, Gen Z, to start making these healthy lifestyle choices? And how can we make these habits stick, especially in our fast-paced world?
So the biggest thing when I start with clients is, one, you have to have a plan. The plan is the first step. And most people just think they're going to dig right in. I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to eat healthy, but they buy a bunch of things and they don't know how to use them, or they don't know how to plan out their days. So this is where life strategies comes into play. It really is stepping down and once or twice a week planning out not only your exercise and your meals, but your grocery shopping, putting it in your calendar of the times that you're going to go and you're going to commit to these tasks and not saying no. But the biggest way to make this stick, and this is what people don't learn, is it needs to fit into your lifestyle in a way where it's not an all or nothing situation. You need to ease into it. If it's not realistic and manageable, it's not going to keep going. So consistency is key. Start with the things that you have the biggest overarching difficulty with, and then start adding in other things. So don't go all for, I'm going to go to the gym every day, I'm going to cook all these meals, I'm going to start practicing meditation and yoga. You need to focus on what your biggest issue is first. And then after you've mastered that for several weeks, they say it takes 30 straight days of consistency to have mastered something. Then you start to add in other things, but your initial goals should be realistic. Meal prep, I'm going to make 5 meals this week, not 21. That's just an example of how to do that.
That's great advice. Start small. All right, we have about a minute left, so we're going to pivot right back to coconut water. So it's fascinating how we've been talking about coconut water has become a go-to for many health enthusiasts, almost replacing the traditional sports drinks. You alluded to this a little bit earlier. And studies have shown that while sports drinks can be loaded with sugar and artificial ingredients, coconut water offers a natural alternative with essential electrolytes, and it provides the same hydration benefits, maybe even more, without the extra calories or additives. So how does coconut water actually stack up against these traditional sports drinks, especially when we're considering long-term health and cancer prevention? Because I know some of these sports drinks have some harmful ingredients in them.
I don't want to name names, but absolutely it does. When you think about it, I try to make my clients understand that your body is, think of your dream car, your luxury sports car, right? You're not going to fill it with diesel, which is dirty fuel. You want to fill it with the cleanest fuel possible so that you have efficiency, right? And so when you're filling it with these like fake additives, things that are, it's going to run your engine down. So the fake sugars, the chemicals, what people don't understand is it interrupts every single control system you have in your body. So not only is it preventing you from absorbing what you need, it's also flushing out what you don't need, and it causes sugar cravings. So you're eating even more unhealthy because you need to feed that sugar, whether it's fake sugar or real sugar in the drink. It's starting that domino effect and you're going to go down. Whereas coconut water, it does not have those issues. It actually makes you feel, in my mind, psychologically, but also it really does, it makes you feel fuller. It makes you feel just as satiated as an energy drink. If you're going for it for flavor, people, it makes you feel just as good having that, but it hydrates you better. And then you also don't get those cravings. I think that's a big issue that no one addresses, that it feeds in the need for you to keep drinking another sugary beverage or having, that's kind of like the old adage of people who say they can't stop at one Diet Coke, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They have one and they keep going. It's because you need to keep feeding it and you're having those natural blood sugar crashes that just make you want more.
Yeah. It's like, it's like a Pringle. Once you start, you can't stop.
Exactly. And not for good reasons on this side.
No, at all.
I think here's one thing that I do say to clients about coconut water. People get so hung up on the fake sugar energy drinks because they're like 0 calories and they tout all of this. But I would rather people have high density calories that mean something, rather than having 0 calories that are doing more harm than good in the long run.
Yeah.
So,
well, we are officially out of time, but this was so insightful. I could go on for another 30 minutes with you and really cover all the cool tips and tricks for our listeners and viewers out there. We do the research for you, my darlings. We do the research for you. Ashley is proof. Yeah. Thank you for being my expert on the microphone in this Hydration with Heart segment.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was so much fun. Now, making the switch from sugary drinks to healthier options like coconut water can seem like a small change, but guess what? It's going to have a massive impact. And we know that maintaining a healthy weight is crucial for cancer prevention, and sugary drinks are often a hidden culprit in weight gain. Up to 40% of cancers can be prevented with lifestyle changes, and reducing sugar intake is a huge part of this. This switch to coconut water is definitely significant. That was our Hydration with Heart segment, brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, and that was the amazing Ashley Walter. She goes by the handle Living with Ashley. She's a renowned healthy living concierge and chef dedicated to holistic nutrition and wellness. You can check her out on her website at livingwithashley.com. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.